Hey everyone, today we are going to prune this golden delicious apple tree that we bought in year 2020, and we have had it in this container since then. It is February 13, 2022, middle of winter here in Zone 6B, Kansas. First thing first, disinfect your pruning shears. We are using 70% rubbing alcohol to make sure there are no pathogens on it. Always clean your shears between pruning two different plants to avoid transferring diseases. Let us begin pruning this tree. Step 1. Know where your fruit tree will make fruits. What branches to prune away is defined by the age of wood on which that fruit tree makes fruit. If we prune away the fruit-making branches, we won't have any harvest this year. For example, apples and pears form fruit on older wood from these tiny branches called spurs, like shown here. Whereas grapes or persimmons make fruit on new growth. There are some apple and pears that bear fruit at the tip of the branch. So Google your fruit variety before you prune to figure if it is spur bearing or tip bearing. Step 2. Know the purpose of your pruning. If it is a young tree, pruning is focused on establishing the shape of the tree. Once the shape is established and the tree is old enough, the purpose of pruning becomes general maintenance and promoting fruit production. In case of this apple tree, when we bought it, we didn't have enough space to put it in ground, so we decided to train it as an espalier. So you see this lower tier is kind of espaliered. We also decided to keep it in container, which is why this lower tier is only 12 inches above the rootstock. Ideally, the first tier should be at waist length or 2 feet above ground, but now we have some space opened up to put this tree in ground. So, for us, the purpose of pruning is to establish a shape for this tree, and since our top tier has some growth, we will do some general maintenance of this tier too. Let us go ahead and prune off these lower branches altogether and show you where to make the cut. Step 3. Know where to make the cut when removing a branch completely. When we are making a cut to completely get rid of a branch, we want to make sure not to cut too deep into the shoulder of the branch where it originates from the trunk, because this can injure the trunk too. We also don't want to prune too far away from the joint to leave a weird looking branch stump or to leave a bud there, because that bud will try to grow a branch and would waste the tree's energy. Make a quick and clean cut. The shears need to be sharp for this. So here is how the cut looks after removing these branches, and this is how the tree looks like now. Step 4. Know where to make a cut when pruning the branch. Last year, we attended several fruit tree and cane pruning workshops and learned so much from it. This made us see the mistakes we made with our first pruning with this tree. For example, here when we pruned this branch, we made the cut with a bud above the cut. Ideally, there should be a bud below the cut to allow future growth. You can see that this wrong cut made this branch grow in this awkward curved shape. Just imagine how it would look if it grows to full size. This can also cause a branch to snap off once it is laden with fruit. Here is another such bad cut. What we are going to do is to find a bud under the branch and make a cut just above that bud. Here, in this case, we have this twig growing and we will use it to grow this branch, but this twig is at an awkward angle, so we will prune it as well to a lower facing bud. We will leave it here and see how it grows this year. If you're finding value in this video so far, please do boop the like button to show your support. Step 5. Know which branches to keep and which to prune off. We have 4 branches now on the top tier, and they are in 4 different directions. This is good because they are far enough to not crowd each other. But when looking at branches, we want to keep the ones which are at an angle of 45 degrees or more from the main trunk or the central leader, because branches at lesser angle from trunk easily snap off when laden with fruits. For example, this one is at an ideal angle, but this one above it is at nearly 35-degree angle. We can either prune it or train it using tree limb spreader, which we don't have currently. So towards the end of this video, we will show you our DIY solution to help this branch train to get a wider angle from the central leader. If this branch would have been at steeper angle, we would have had pruned it instead of training it. Our central leader or the main trunk is doing pretty good, so we will just tip the top off. This would encourage the branch formation from the central leader to get the next tier of branches. Now here is an example of this vertical shoot. This is not a water shoot, but it is better to prune these to one bud, otherwise they can try to become the leader. The one bud left on it will now be encouraged to become a fruiting spur. We will do the same with this twig, which is at a very low angle from its main branch, pruning it to one bud to promote spur formation. We do not want to cut into the bud. We want to cut slightly above the bud. Now this finishes the pruning for this tree, and this is how the tree looks like now. Let us look at how to train the branches now to get a wider angle. Step 6. DIY tree limb spreader. Now let us show you how we will train this one branch which is at less than optimum angle. All we are doing here is tying a rock with a piece of rag and tying it to this branch. The weight of this rock will pull the branch away from the main trunk. We can slide this rock up or down to achieve the angle we want this branch to be at. We will leave this weight here this whole year to train this tree. That is all we have for pruning this apple tree in its third year. If you found value in this video, please do like it and subscribe to help our channel grow. Thanks for watching.